Today we gather to reflect upon the past academic year. We want to look at the present and current state of the university, and we want to provide direction for the future of our beloved institution. So since I delivered the last State of the University address in 22-23, I have attempted to keep you abreast of the evolving landscape in which we exist through regular communications and meetings with our shared governance partners in the Senate, Professional Staff Caucus, and in labor management, and in the community. And I have also sent regular email updates over my time here to keep you all informed. You all know my motto: if I know it, you know it. I'm going to tell it if I get the information, and I'm going to share it with you. In November 2023, I laid out a plan to begin to tackle our structural deficit. I remember when I first got here and I only thought I had 6 months to go. Where's Fred Floss? I said, I'm not going to worry about that structural deficit. I'm going home in 6 months. Somebody else can figure that out. Well, guess what? I'm still here. So the structural deficit is something that I have been expected to take on and take the leadership for. In May 2024, I did announce the deactivation and discontinuation of 37 degree programs, certificate titles, concentrations, I'm looking at my provost to make sure I get this right, minors and certificates. Now, let me reiterate, let's take this slowly so we understand it, that of those 37 programs, there were a total of 34 students affected, and we have ensured that these students are not left behind. They all have the opportunity to complete their programs over the next 2 to 3 years. We just won't be admitting new students into those programs. And again, to be clear, where's my dean? There's my dean. None of those discontinuations took away key degree concentrations, certifications from our curriculum. We are solidly embedded and committed to the education and teacher preparation business. We will now and forever will be State Teachers College. Okay? That's our destiny. And we have expanded some other academic areas like Afro-American studies. You can imagine how it was when I went to church that Sunday and they thought I got rid of African-American studies. But to a broader cultural and historical discipline, we've expanded it. It's now under the auspices of Africana Studies, something more relevant, more rich, more broad. So I'm saying that so that when we read it in the newspaper, at least you'll have an understanding and you can help explain to people what we really did. I also announced a volunteer separation program, and I want to take this time to acknowledge, although in her absence, Dr. Judy Elliott. She's another one of our amazing Buffalo State alumna. She was a scholar athlete when she was here. She was a swimmer, so she's a little upset that we don't have a swim team right now, but we'll talk about that later. And the chair of the Buffalo State Foundation. And it was their tremendous support that provided us the opportunity for the volunteer separation program. We couldn't have accomplished it without them. And most recently in December 2024, on the status of the university, I reported and laid out the 3 strategic priorities that we're going to be looking toward, and also I reported some restructuring and some announcements of various administrative appointments. So since the last State of the State of the University, I don't want to do the State of the Union, we have actually kept you informed along the way. As we conclude our second full week of the spring semester and are learning more about the direction of the new U.S. presidency on a daily basis, I want to reaffirm our mission here at Buffalo State University. We are deeply committed to fostering a diverse, inclusive, and vibrant community that facilitates, I'm not done, that facilitates the intellectual, personal, and professional growth of our students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Our mission is not just a statement, it is our daily practice. And as I said in my message to the campus this past Tuesday, when we step into our classrooms, to the student union, to the library, and to our athletic facilities, we see a beautiful tapestry of diversity of background, thought, and experiences reflected through all of ourselves and all of our students. This richness is our strength and has been the cornerstone for the past 153 years as we have been educating citizens and leaders of the Western New York area, the state, the country, and in fact the world. The future business, civic, education, and community leaders of our city, region, and republic are here under our guidance and our tutelage, growing in knowledge and character every day. Now, I know the ambiguity that we are experiencing right now is creating anxiety. I had actually written the word may, but let's just scratch out may. It's creating anxiety. But what I want you to know is that we hear you, we see you, we stand with you. This may be a time of uncertainty outside of these walls, but I stand before you today to affirm that there is nothing uncertain about our mission, nothing uncertain about our vision, nothing uncertain about our goals and priorities at Buffalo State University. This place is a living, learning community where every individual, regardless of their background, beliefs, or identity, is respected, valued, and supported. We will continue to do what we do best, educating our students and serving our community while ensuring a safe, inclusive, and welcoming environment for all. We will also continue to monitor federal developments closely. We will seek advice and counsel from our partners and our supporters at SUNY and keep you apprised on any actions we will be required to take to address directives coming from outside of the university. Now, we are fortunate as part of WestCAM, the WestCAM Schools for Legal Counsel, that the WestCAM attorney is on our campus. We house her here. So we have her close to us. We can talk to her at any time to get information. But I'm going to go one better. I've got the personal cell phone number for SUNY's general counsel. So I can also call him as well. So anything that we see, anything that we're not sure about, anything that we hear, please, raise it to a level where we can work on it. Kristen Klein-Wheaton can help us. Lisa Frankoyak can help us. You can give it to me, because some days we just don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is there's anxiety, there's confusion, and there's angst. And we have to be that steady rock to keep things moving and stick to our mission. We've got to remember, we're a community. We have to stay informed, hopeful, and supportive of each other as we navigate these uncharted waters. Remember, you're not alone. We are Buffalo State University, and we stand united. Now, as we reflect on the past academic year, it's clear that Buffalo State University has continued to uphold its traditions of excellence in education and community engagement. Our students, faculty, and staff and alums have made significant contributions to our collective success, providing once again that spirit of Buffalo State University that doesn't just rest between our two front doors Elmwood Avenue, and Grant Street, but emanates far beyond the boundaries of our campus into the city, state, and nation. I want to share with you some highlights from the past academic year. And I'm going to go quickly because this is where I think I lost some time when I was practicing. First, we'll start with the core enterprise, which is our academics and our achievements over the past year. And our most significant accomplishment was that we launched the General Education 2023, GE 2023. Now, you guys, you know, I come from a different age. We said all the words when we identified things. All these letters and numbers, you know, they're not in my wheelhouse, so just bear with me as I get through this. Our General Education GE 2023 underpins our commitment to the liberal arts tradition, ensuring a comprehensive and holistic education for our students. The program covers a variety of knowledge and skill domains, including communications, mathematics, quantitative reasoning, natural science, and scientific reasoning. Additional courses were added, providing students with options in business, exceptional education, social sciences that equip them with the analytical tools to understand and navigate societal factors that influence individual and group dynamics. And by designing a curriculum that offers students a broad understanding of the changing aspects of a pluralistic society, we aim to align their education with our mission of inspiring lifelong learning and preparing them to thrive in a rapidly changing and interconnected world. The 2023-24 academic year marked significant success in securing grants and expanding opportunities for our students. Now, let me tell you another secret about me. I'm half Appalachian and half Southern, so sometimes these numbers just don't roll off as smoothly as they should when I say them. So just bear with me as I go through them. Dr. Sarbani Banerjee, Professor of Computer Information Systems, secured an over $47,000 Lewis Stokes New STEM Pathways Research Alliance grant and an additional $238,000 from the National Foundation of the Lewis Stokes Alliance for minority participating grants. Patrice Cathy, Director of Pre-Collegiate Academic Success Center, secured better than $500,000 for us for the Liberty Partnership Program from New York State Education. And Daryl Carter, who was the director of the STEP program, received almost $350,000 for the Science and Technology Entry Program for New York State Education. Now, these are not just standalone things that are happening. These are things that get woven into our timeline and into our overall plan. We need STEP to cultivate our students that are in high school so that when they're ready to go to college, first of all, they're ready, and secondly, they're interested in Buffalo State. So these are all significant things. Doctors Lori Bonanno and Ada Cisse were awarded $30,000 for the Model EU African Partnership Grant through the European Commission. Dr. Loba Balokova, I hope I got that close, Senior Research Scientist, and Sasha Karatavyev, also, along with Allison Hyrick, got over $650,000 for the Great Lakes Biology Monitoring Program from Cornell University. Dr. Joaquim Carbonera, Professor of Mathematics, secured more than $70,000 from Erie County Low Income Program for Sustainable Grants from Erie County Environment and Planning. And some of our new faculty members have actively engaged with students as well. For example, graphic design faculty Shasti O'Leary spearheaded a service learning project with her students in response to a request from the Volunteer Services Coordinator for Pediatric Care at Colitis Health High Point facility. And Professor Iki Chu of Economics and Finance bridged connections between students and Western New York leaders, which included our former police commissioner for Buffalo Police, and also Heather LaForme, who is the director of the Native American Services. In the spring of 2024, Professor Patrick McGovern, Moawish Sarwari, and Peter Yacobucci from Politics, Planning, and Philosophy Department led a group of students to Washington, D.C. These students had the opportunity to meet with representatives from the State Department and several other agencies, and also to visit the Supreme Court and historic sites and museums in the area. Evan Drummond, our applied guitar instructor, reignited the Guitar Club. Now, it's been dormant since COVID, but it has come back thriving this year. And if you haven't had a chance to hear these young students play, you should really make a chance to do that. It's really been amazing what they've been able to do in the past year. Our faculty have also been active with their research and in their specific fields. Herman Diaz III has had his qualitative study published that scrutinizes the role of Latinx Cultural Center in the experience of undergrad Latino men in a predominantly white institution. Dana Faye Soror, Assistant Professor of History and Social Studies Education, also facilitated a two-day conference for the National Council of Social Studies Summer Institute. Elizabeth Mariani, a lecturer in the college writing program, had her poem, The Week, included in the anthology of Italian trans geographies, and two of her poems, Capsule and From Her Podium, have been published in The Waiting Room. Kim Chin Ki, Associate Professor of English, completed, I am just so impressed, a half Ironman competition in Geneva, New York. Now, half is 70.3 miles. You'd have to come get me. I just, you know. And also completed the U.S. Triathlon National Championship in 2023. And she says that she draws from her experiences as an athlete with her work today. I'm just really impressed with those kinds of things, because I can't do them. Over the past academic year, our faculty has also notably distinguished themselves in respective fields, bringing honor to our institution. You know, we're not going to really have a chance to talk much about the presidential search right now because we don't have actual confirmation from SUNY, but I always say, we're interviewing them, but they're interviewing us. So the notoriety that our faculty and staff can bring to this institution from outside is very important. Lorna Perez, Associate Professor of English, was appointed a SUNY Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Social Justice Fellow for the academic year 23-24. She's one of 16 throughout the system. During our academic convocation last year, we recognized several President's and Chancellor's Award winners for everything from teaching to research to advising to professional service. And I'm not going to go through that list because that'll just make your lunch farther away. Our staff has also demonstrated exceptional dedication to their roles over the past academic year. Sue Rubino was honored with the SUNY Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Classified Service. Dr. Kimberly Jackson received the Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Professional Service. Lisa Rochester Mills received the President's Award for Excellence. You know I'm driving the guy crazy with the teleprompter because I'm jumping around. Award for Excellence in Service. Okay. And Sammy Naji was recognized with the President's Award for Excellence in Academic Advisement. Also, Steve Sanuski, our Assistant Campus Planner and Maud Gordon Holmes Arboretum Manager, was named the Certified Nursery Landscape Professional of the Year by the New York State Nursery and Landscape Association. In our university police area, the SUNY Police Association has recognized officers Brian Biddell and Paul Morrison, who received heroism awards for their swift and effective response to a fire in Upton Hall on December 10th, 2023. And I'm going to turn to Linda right now because that was the day of a football game. We were in the football box, and all we could see was fire trucks just swinging around, coming off of the expressway. We didn't know what was going on. We never really found out what was going on. All we knew is it was handled well, and they prevented a lot of further damage. So Linda, that's my report. It was all right. Additionally, Lieutenant Ed Helling and Officer Mary Doherty and Jim Urbanski were recognized with professional service awards for their diligent work in ensuring safety of attendees at a Buffalo State basketball game in February earlier this year. And so even though I kind of ran through that quickly, and I apologize, you will read all the names in the printed report that you will get, but I just want to say once again, congratulations to all of you. Everything that you do for yourselves and for your profession comes back to help elevate Buffalo State. So I say congratulations. Excuse me. Our student body has consistently demonstrated excellence in various arenas, and we want to talk about our scholar athletes right now. One of the most outstanding achievements was accomplished by Buffalo State's men's soccer program. They set a school record with an impressive 16 victories and finished the season, listen to this, ranked 16th in the nation. And as a soccer mom, what my kids did doesn't even touch what these kids are doing. But I know enough about soccer to just be dangerous, but I could keep up with it. So it was really impressive to watch them play. This extraordinary performance led them to advance to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournaments for the first time in the program's history. And this is proof of the hard work of our athletes, the team spirit, and their excellence, their pursuit of excellence. Also, Diego Rivera, one of our students, was selected for the SUNY as the SUNYAC Offensive Player of the Year and was recognized additionally as a first-team All-American. His teammate Manu Prieto also showcased his talents and was selected as a second-team All-American. Now, I also want to highlight the accomplishments of another amazing young student, Micaiah Laster. Laster, a student who epitomizes the balance of academic rigor and athletic vigor. She was nominated for the prestigious Elite 90 Award in indoor track and field. And at the same time, she earned a perfect 4.0 GPA for her fall semester. So she is showing that the athletics is only part of what we look for. Our athletes are also scholars. Our Buffalo State alumni have continued to make significant contributions to our community and beyond. Their involvement with current students, campus events, and the Western New York community has been truly inspiring. And I want to highlight just three today. Raven Baxter, known as Dr. Raven, the science maven, is an alumna who has, here, go ahead and clap for her. She's made a significant impact on the scientific community. Her organization, the Science Haven, distributed 100 high-tech telescopes to middle school and high school students, including more than 30 for Western New York, through an event that we held at Whitworth-Ferguson Planetarium. And a side note for Raven, my late husband and I used to host Thanksgiving dinner for our students, mine from Buffalo State and his from UB, who couldn't go home or didn't want to go home for Thanksgiving because it was such a short time. I have never made so much macaroni and cheese in my life. but we would host them. And Raven was one of our students that would show up for Thanksgiving dinner during her undergraduate years. Another distinguished alum is Tom Fontana, an Emmy Award-winning writer-producer who returned to Buffalo to film his new script, The Wrong Road. Notably, the production crew was comprised of students from our Buffalo State's television and film arts program. What an amazing opportunity for our students. And you should have just seen a release of our YouTube clip featuring Chef Darian Bryan, who is now built an incredible culinary career right here in Buffalo and continues to not only give back to Buffalo State, but to our community, and more especially to the K-12 student population. I am also thrilled to share that our institutional advancement team has once again exceeded in their fundraising goals, making this the 4th consecutive year, right, Jim? Okay. 4th consecutive year. They have secured over $7.7 million in new commitments, and that's an accomplishment that speaks volumes about their trust and generosity that they receive from our donors, as well as the hard work and dedication of our fundraising team. The funds have enabled Buffalo State Foundation to contribute $2.5 million in scholarships and support student success programs such as the GRIT Scholarship and Countdown to College. In addition, as I mentioned or alluded to earlier, the foundation has so far provided the campus with $1.7 million to fund the voluntary separation program. And that has been pivotal in ensuring the smooth transition and well-being of our faculty and staff. So let's give a round of applause and thanks for our donors, our development team, and our foundation board. And who could forget the year of the eclipse, which was remarkable. It was a remarkable period for Buffalo State University, filled with many once-in-a-lifetime educational opportunities, commitments, and community engagements and experiences. Now, I was so worried that I wasn't going to be able to get to campus that day, because that was before I moved into the president's house, that I actually slept overnight in the dorms. So I would be here. But I was here. And we'll have to talk about, where's Alex? We'll have to talk about those mattresses. Okay. Even Chancellor King and his staff made their way to the campus to witness this celestial event with us. And once again, I would like to thank Dr. Kevin Williams and all who played a part in the planning and implementation of these events. And as we close the academic year, we celebrated our 152nd commencement exercises, conferring degrees on nearly 1,700 students, and that's baccalaureate degrees and graduate degrees. And so that's always a good time. I always like to see the students that go across the stage. I like to applaud some of them, and I like to raise up and say a thank you for some of the others that are getting across the stage. And now I would like to turn our attention to the current state of the university. I will begin with updating you on our progress toward achieving financial sustainability. And as you know, this is a goal that we have to accomplish this by the year 27-28, and it's mandated by SUNY. So our journey toward financial sustainability is on track, and based on our current projections, we will be balanced. We will be in the black by 27-28 fiscal year. Okay. Now, you have to understand, this is just like your weekly, monthly budget. We watch this budget like every 2 weeks, we're on the phone with SUNY. We're making sure their numbers agree with our numbers. We're looking at all the inputs, projecting where we're going to be, doing our forecasting, and we have to continue to adjust. So just like right now with the price of eggs and the terrible things that are happening with the birds and us not being able to have enough eggs, some weeks we're going to have eggs, some weeks we're not. So we're managing this on a year-by-year basis, doing twice a year deep dives to make sure we know where we are, and a final end-of-year report to solidify where we are. So it'll be July 1st before we get a final number for this 24-25 year. But to maintain transparency, all faculty and staff have access to our financial sustainability summaries through, you know how you log into the website and put in your username and password? It's password protected. You can get to the financial sustainability reports from there. They are there. Contributing to keep us moving forward with our financial targets, we also implemented a hiring freeze in November 2023. It's about a year old now, and what we said is we would put a hold on replacing any vacant positions for 1 year, but we would provide a 20% of the salary savings for backfilling. So I'm just going to give you the numbers from an FTE perspective. These are not headcount numbers, these are FTE. As of June 23, our personal service FTEs were at 983. As of June 24, our personal service FTEs were at 944. And as of the end of January, we are at an FTE of 874. Now you remember, one of the main levers in this whole financial sustainability process is optimization of the workforce as we try to balance our enrollment and workforce. We use the emerging needs process as a consistent review tool to determine where additional support is needed. And I thank you all so much for all the hard work and the creativity and all the thoughts that you've had about how to continue to move forward and continue to provide what we need under these really, really hard circumstances. This is hard, y'all. This is really hard. But we've got to look at the end. We've got to look at where we need to be by 27, 28. So I would like to provide you with the official numbers also for the voluntary separation agreement that we've recently finished. So we had 55 applicants, and we had 51 approvals. Now, the 4 non-approvals were either due to the applicant withdrawing before the process was finished or the applicant not being eligible. So my job was to make sure that we had everything that we needed to approve as many people as we could who wanted to take advantage of this. We had 42 individuals retire in August, as of August 31st, and we have 9 as of December 31st. The payout total, $1,670,000. It was distributed, our retirements were distributed between 27 CSA employees and 24 UUP members. And I should have got the number between faculty and staff, but I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll get that for you. A summary of VSP results is also now available going into the website using your user name and password, and you can get in to see what the VSP results are. Now, the foundation provided the campus with up to $2 million. They voted to give us up to $2 million for an investment for a voluntary separation program. And you heard me just say we spent about $1.6 million, whatever, at that point. So, as all funds were not fully exhausted, the campus is positioned to use the remaining balance as a continuation of the original investment. And so we're pleased to offer a one-time, local, Buffalo State, phased, voluntary separation program. Here's some more letters. PVSP, Phased Volunteer Separation Program. It will be made available to full-time UUP professionals and full-time, unclassified, management confidential employees who are eligible for retirement as defined by New York State. We will, I'm looking for Jamie. I think we'll be able to, hi Jamie, we'll be able to make the announcement later today. The announcement will go out later today with all the details in it because you really don't want me to try to explain it all to you. The first thing it says is make an appointment with HR. So if you're interested, I encourage you to do that. The program allows our employees to separate from the workforce gradually with a reduction in both workload and pay. Okay, so you can go down gradually. Remember that you can only go down to 50%, okay, because once you go below 50%, then you're not, considered a full-time employee. You're not eligible for the benefits. It's the campus our intention is to exhaust available funding in support of this program. And so we'll read more about it this afternoon. Get your appointment in there so you can see it. We have the deadlines and everything is working out fine. Now, we really had to go through, we went through a few hoops with SUNY to be able to offer this program, but we've got a good negotiator in Jamie Warrens because she got us through. And so we have the resources and we're going to use them. And understand that this is just part of our larger strategy to get us in line with all of our responsibilities for the SUNY plan. We've had some other cost-saving measures. I couldn't believe it until I saw it, but we reviewed and inactivated fax lines. Okay, remember those? That resulted in $18,000 worth of savings. So, they had 2 at the president's house and nobody knew how to use either one of them, so I don't know. Well, we got rid of them. We created the Bingle Supply Exchange in the summer of 2024 and provided budget recommendations to each cabinet member. So those are some of the high-level cost savings. You'll hear more about other cost savings that are coming along this semester. We also want to share with you some of our current enrollment stats. Now, because we have not gotten to our census date for the spring semester, I can't, and once we get to the census date, then we got to go through iPads, go through SUNY, make sure everything is verified before we publish them. So I can't really tell you what the spring looks like, but I can tell you what we have from fall. So our admissions applications from fall 23 to fall 24 increased by 13.6%. So we're now sitting, at the time we wrote this, we were sitting on 18,000 applications opposed to 16,000 last year, and that number continues to grow. But that's not, that's not the end of it. As you're aware, we made a change in admission standards from a high school GPA of 76 to 78. And our intent with this is that we will bring in students that have a better opportunity and are more apt to be able to be retained and persist with the services that we can provide. And so that's why we put that level there. It also gives our EOP department a different lens to look at as far as to who they bring in and who they service. And I will say at this time, although it's not in my report, we just learned that we got approval from SUNY that we're going to get the resources to bring in another 100 ACE students over what we already have. And SUNY is out doing private fundraising to bring those students in for us. Our total fall head count for 2024 was 6,138. Now that's a decrease of 267 people, or students, from fall 23. So our undergraduate enrollment fell by 302 students. However, our graduate enrollment increased by 35 students. So the shift indicates that there's more interest in postgraduate studies, indicating an increased perception in the quality and value of our advanced degree programs. So we're really going to put some effort behind that. We talked with the deans about that just the other day and see what we can do to capitalize on that. We still have a bit of a decrease in our first-time enrollments and our new transfers. First-time enrollment is down 16%, and new transfers is 15%, but we think once we factor in for the increase in high school GPA, that may not look as drastic as we think it is right now. And again, the more we can retain, the less we have to recruit. So, you know, it's nice to be able to retain students and get them in so that we don't have to increase our recruitment. Despite the increase in total enrollment, our overall retention numbers improved by 3%. We went from 54.7% to 57.7%. And for the first time since 2005, we actually have achieved gender parity in retention rates. So our men and women are being retained at the same level. So that's good news. That shows that some of the programs and some of the things that we're doing are working. In terms of our residential and commuter population, we've seen an increase in retention rates in both areas over the past 3 years. So commuter students have risen from 58.3% in 2021 to 66.9% in fall 2023. We also have seen an increase in our residential students, same years, from 44.5 to 53.1. So we think we're trending in the right directions for those. Our honors students, Amy, shout out to Amy, they have an 84% retention rate. Our SAS students, shout out to Stan, where's Stan? We have a 64, almost 65% retention rate. EOP's retention rate remained flat between 22 and 23 at about 60%. But remember, we saw a notable increase. We saw almost a 20% increase from 2021 to 2022. So we're doing well there. So the data indicates that the steps that we have taken regarding our admissions standards and student support mechanisms that we put into place are positively impacting our student success. We have some persistence rates from 23 to 20 for fall 24. We've improved by 6.4%. We're up to 82.8%, and that's the highest persistence rate we've had since 2017. Okay. So, in other news, Dr. Randall Bowen is departing from his role as Vice President for Enrollment Management and will be joining Gannon University as the VP of Marketing and Enrollment. So Randy, I want to sincerely publicly thank you for championing and procuring and implementing our new EAB Navigate platform over the last 3 years. You will be missed, I will miss you, but the inside joke is the school that Randy is going to, Gannon University, is securing Ursuline College in Cleveland, which is the school where my daughter is on the nursing faculty and is ahead of the accreditation. So he's just trading one Durand for another. So while he will be missed, he is an alum, so we expect to see him around. And I will be informing the community on enrollment management leadership soon. We have not made a final decision. However, I have every confidence that the enrollment management team will continue to do the very good work begun under Randy's leadership. As we strive for excellence, yes. I also noted in my December update that Middle States has recently made adjustments to the accreditation cycles of institutions. So they are now very, 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 very closely monitoring key indicators and metrics. The benchmarks that they've added to our annual updates are focusing on 4 critical areas: student achievement, annual enrollment, financial health, and federal financial responsibility. So what happens is they give us benchmarks for every one of those standards. And if we fall below a benchmark at any given time, we are then required to either do a supplemental information report to explain our position, or they may actually come for a visit. So it's not going to be just the 7 years and the other like we used to do. They may come earlier. So as you know, we've already received the SIR for student success. Is that what we called it? Yeah. So what? Student support experience. We've already received one. We wrote a response, got it to them in September. They accepted it in November. But on January 16th, we received a request for another because our 6-year graduation rate for the 2017 cohort of first-time, full-time freshmen has dropped below 40%. So the graduation rate benchmark is 40%. Now, as we do the analysis, we believe that we're going to be in the same position with our class of 2018 and our class of 2019. So we are preparing and responding to Middle States, basically acknowledging what they've told us and we know where we are, but also putting together the plan that's going to take us through 2019 to get out of this situation. We have a team that's diligently working. It's got faculty, staff, and we work across institutional departments to identify barriers and implement strategies and tactics to reverse this trend and positively impact persistence, retention, and graduation rates. Now, one of the things that I am most inspired by is some, I'm going to call it impromptu work that some of us here that were here during the break did with reaching out to students who were in good academic standing, had no holes, no financial barriers, who were here in the fall, are registered students, but hadn't registered for spring. Okay, and we had them in all different categories. So we assembled a team, our institutional research, our reps folks took the list, broke it down by group. Each faculty got their group, each affinity group got their group, and what I am told is we did a pretty good job of converting some of those, we don't know if they're coming back, into enrollments. I want to acknowledge our financial aid folks, Brandon especially. I want to acknowledge Dave and Nigel because they did a heck of a lot of work, because if you can imagine, every one of these students had their own set of circumstances. And when you call them on the phone, text them, and talk to them one-on-one, you start to understand more what's going on with them. So I just want to appreciate everyone who did that work. It took us about 10 days, and we made some significant progress. So hopefully we'll see the final results of that soon. I also want to talk about some structural infrastructure improvements that we've done. Our university police department got a $434,000 grant from the New York Division of Criminal Justice Services to purchase various law enforcement equipment, including cameras for Perry Hall, North Wing, and Moore Complex, and weapons detection systems. And this will help bolster our security and safety on campus. Our facilities and our construction folks have finished the spine that goes through Bingle Walk, and we're in preparation of moving across the street. It's all finished, it's beautiful. I was complaining to Lisa every day about all the fences, all the orange fences, but we finally got to take them all down, and it's a beautiful sight. We also had some upgrades to the Savage Theater that were very much needed. We are participating in a decarbonization leadership program, And it just, the detail that we have to do to that, when I heard it, it just kind of went over my head. But it's a lot of detailed work. And we're working toward mitigating the impacts of climate change and reducing our carbon footprint. So I want to talk a bit about our strategic priorities, and then I promise I'll let you go. Our first priority is enhancing morale and campus climate. I want to thank Fred Floss and his executive team from the university, United University Professions. I said it right, Fred, where are you? Okay, because we are jointly with the administration introducing a series called Collaborative Conversations. Now that's the best we could do. Once you come to a session, if you think of a better name, we're open for suggestions. But we're going to do single subjects topics, de-escalation, critical conversations, cultural competency. We're going to try to squeeze in the middle states presentation that we never got to do. Did I get enough of them? Okay, so we have these set up throughout the spring semester. We're going to use February, March, and April. Some of them will be on Fridays, some of them will be at bingo pause. That way we have a variety of times to meet all schedules. And you should know that if it's sponsored by UUP and the President's Office, there will be food. Fred has got us some good speakers to come in. We're using some of our own staff, you know, our own faculty and staff, and we hope that this is going to help us with some of our, you know, some of our kind of issues that we're having a hard time getting our hands around. You know, how do you talk to people? How do you work in an environment and have opposing opinions and stay civil, you know, and positive and productive? So we're gonna do that, and I thank Fred for and Lisa for all their help, as well as the rest of the UUP. We are also setting up a resource center in the Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office, formerly known as Equity and Campus Diversity. The space is going to be designed, it's a physical space designed to sponsor an environment where all individuals feel respected, valued, and supported. It will offer a broad range of resources and opportunities and educational programs aimed at empowering everyone, regardless of background or experience. We're not quite calling it safe space right now. Don't tell anybody we said that, because we don't know if that violates any federal mandate. So, but we'll have a resource room. So our equity and diversity folks are working hard on that, and we think that'll be a benefit. On Monday, we did a tabletop exercise that was prepared by SUNY Legal on how to respond to law enforcement demands and requests. I want you to know that we had scenarios and situations that came from real life that we had to sit and brainstorm and get through as we talked about those scenarios. But since I like to cut to the chase, the bottom line is, for our campus, if any law enforcement agency or any outside agencies come to our campus, all you have to remember to do is call university police. You don't provide them with any information, you don't try to help them, you don't try to bar them, you don't try to interact with them, you call university police. They are our local enforcement agency. They will know, based on the situation, where to go next. It may be council, you know, it may be another agency, but they will advise us. So we want you to do that. You know, we sat for 2 hours, and my takeaway was call university police. They are the experts, and they've been through this. Refrain from interference. Don't try to interfere with them. We're also going to ask you to be careful and refrain from trying to give our students advice. We understand and appreciate your concern for our students, but it's crucial that we direct the students to the appropriate resources rather than risk misinforming them. So once again, our student life folks are going to be able to say, go here, do this. Our student clubs are more free with the kinds of discussions that they can have, but we don't want to be seen as obstructing anything, and I just don't even know how to emphasize how serious this is. The only thing I showed everybody was a pass card, because people are now supposed to carry their passports, and a card is easier. So as I said earlier, we do have legal counsel on the premises. We do have university police, but please be careful with advising students. And we will keep you informed. As things come out, as things change, we will be talking to you about what they are. We have to stay together as a community. And we're strongest when we're informed, united, and prepared to support each other. So I'm afraid you're going to see more emails from me, more messages from me this year as we go through these processes. As we talk about the structural deficit, we're taking decisive action, as I said earlier, and in part of this effort is we have to put some spending limit policies in place on our spending limits and our contracts. Now please, this is nothing like COVID, but what we are noticing, our trend, is that we are over forecasting what we should be spending on OTPS. Now, we don't know if that's because now we're out of COVID and people are traveling more or whatever, but we're going to put spending limits for purchases of $5,000 or more. That will require VP approval, and all purchases over $50,000, we have a form that will have to be filled out with justification, and that will come to the cabinet. We will give you more information on this later. This is something that, like the eggs, it's ebb and flow. If we feel like by the end of this year we've got things back on track to where we're forecasting out to 27, 28, we can always change it. I think some exciting news that you'll like to hear is that in response to the Senate resolution and requests from students, we are revising the freshman and sophomore parking policy. The current restriction prevents residential freshmen and sophomores from obtaining a parking permit. We're discontinuing that. This will be effective fall 2025. So any student that wants to bring a car can bring a car to campus. They'll have to buy a permit, but they can also bring their car. We believe this will contribute to converting more of our first-time, full-time freshmen and transfer applicants. Sometimes the difference between them coming here and going somewhere else is whether or not they can bring their car. Because they need their cars for work. They need their cars to take care of their families. They need their cars to get around. They're not, they're not tied to the institution like it may have been in the past. So we've got that going on for us. The other thing we did is we ended our contract with NFTA. Remember, NFTA used to give us these bus passes, but boy, did they come at a cost. NFTA never gave us just the bus passes we needed. They based how many bus passes we had to buy on our total undergraduate population. And there's only a certain percentage of our population that even uses the bus pass. So what we did is we couldn't come to any happy agreement with them, and Lisa Krieger tried. She was very nice to them. She was nicer than I would have been, but we couldn't come to anything. So we chose to move to making the MetGo loadable bus pass available in the bookstore. So you can go over there, you can put as much money on it as you want, you can reload it, and it's right here on campus. Because we stopped the contract, and because we went to this MetGo pass, we were able to reduce the undergraduate transportation fee from $110 to $80. So we gave our students back some of that transportation money. Now remember, we still have vans, we still have other things we have to use the transportation fee for, but the students directly benefited from that. Now, the hiccup in that is that our students now are responsible on whatever basis, monthly, weekly, whatever, to provide their own funds for their reloadable pass. And we really do know that there are some students who really just can't afford that. So we have implemented an appeal program, a transportation appeal process, where students can ask for support with their bus passes. And we also have a fund in the foundation. We're funding the appeals that we approve with funds from the foundation that come from donors. Now, all of you can be a donor. All of you can help a student with a, with a donation to the MetGo Pass. What's the name of it, Lisa? MetGo Pass Fund? MetGo Pass Fund. Oh, Transportation Appeal Fund. That's something that we can do. We helped 110 students this year in the fall. So that's a way, that's kind of the balance. We've got that heavy expense off from over our head. We didn't have to try to ask for a fee increase that we probably wouldn't have gotten. We actually saved our students on the front end the $30. And if they really want to, in the first few weeks of the semester, if they have unused financial aid, they can load that onto their MetGo Pass. So that might get them through the first part of the process. And it's really easy. My great-grandson, who was 14, I got him a MetGo Pass. That was my experiment. And now as I watch him on Life 360, he is all over the city. But he's got his pass. And then I want to talk about fostering a culture of quality assurance and continuous improvement. And we talked about that in December as well. So what we are launching is we're launching our quality assurance and continuous improvement committees. And they will ensure that we are fulfilling our mission and commitment to the community, to our students. And we're using as our parameters, first and foremost, the middle state standards. We're also going to look at the SUNY pillars, and we'll look at what we currently have in our Buffalo State pillars. So this will be an ongoing committee that won't just come and go as accreditation comes and goes. They will continually look and evaluate and help us through this accreditation process. So we're going to be selecting chairs for the 5 subcommittees soon, after which we will then be able to solicit faculty and staff who want to join the committees. Hopefully by soon we'll have that done and we'll be able to announce that. Now, unfortunately, as I said earlier, I can't tell you anything about the presidential search because SUNY hasn't told me anything about the presidential search. But I wanted to update you on some other matters. In December, I said we were going to do a search for a vice president for finance and management. Well, we've done some research, we've looked at some other issues, and we've decided to postpone that search. With all else that we have going on, and in anticipation that we may have another major search to do, hopefully soon, we decided that we are going to allow the process that we have in place in finance and management to stay as it is. We've created a lot of cooperation and goodwill with SUNY. We've got a lot of synergy going there. The chancellor is happy with what we're doing. We did not have to go back to SUNY this December to report to him again, which is a big deal because some of the campuses did. So we think we're just going to maintain our current momentum and provide the next president with the opportunity to evaluate that situation and make that decision. Now again, Dr. Bowen's departure provides another opportunity for us to assess enrollment management leadership. I'm going to tell you, I don't have an answer for you right now. We're still looking at that. I am planning to meet with the Vice President's direct reports weekly. They are in the middle of the recruitment cycle. So what do we do? Do we try to disrupt that? Do we disrupt that in some way? How do we make that work? I don't have an answer for you now, but we will have an answer for you soon there. But let me assure you that our enrollment management unit not only has solid leadership, they've got experienced, dedicated staff who are, as I said, well into this enrollment cycle for fall 25. I'm kind of an unofficial member of that staff. I go places where they want me to go and talk to people. But we're trying to really evaluate what the best thing is for our institution at this time. And our objective is not just to continue to grow applications. We got plenty of applications. but we want to maximize the success of converting those applications into registered paid student. And that's where I think we can all help. I want to get to the end here. Honestly, I really am getting to the end. I find myself reflecting now for 2 years almost on our shared journey. And people often ask me about my vision for the institution and the legacy that I want to leave behind. And this reflection and these questions have inspired me to the theme of my address, which I didn't tell you in the beginning, but legacy building and succession planning. It holds particular significance as we navigate the path toward what I think our vision should be, and that is to become the premier comprehensive university in the SUNY system by 2030. But to do this, we have to realize our financial sustainability goals by 2027, and we have to, and that will incorporate some other integral parts in that. I'm preparing you, I'm going to say you, for your 10th president. That's my role, that's my job. So this vision and legacy is not about me, it's about you and us, and being ready to move forward when that time comes. I'm going to go back to our faculty again. I'm going to call on you again. I believe the core of our university lies within our faculty. Your work, your service, your research, your curriculum design is what propels us forward. You are building the legacy of our institution, and it's you who are investing in the next generation of scholars. Now, our administrators and our exceptional professional staff stand around to support the institution and to support the faculty and our students in this pursuit of excellence. As we move forward, I wanted to share with you some thoughts from ASCU's 5 imperatives of public regional institution. That was part of a speech that was given this summer at an ASCU meeting. What we should be doing now to support our mission are 1, doubling down on student success efforts, 2, creating robust online experiences, 3, leveling up on digital instruction and learning, 4, having a mobility mindset across modalities, and 5, diversifying revenue streams. As I mentioned at the close of my first update to the state of the university in '24, if we do not make these difficult decisions together now, we risk hampering our ability to control our ultimate destiny. Now remember, I won't be here with you when you realize these goals and seize your destiny. I'm headed back into retirement. And a new president will be guiding and supporting you through this next phase. But I will be praying for you, I will be cheering for you, and I will be supporting you from not too far away in Amherst. As we draw this State of the University address to the close, I know you're saying, thank God she's going to stop talking. We want to take a moment to reflect on who we are. We are Buffalo's University. We are the institution where students from across the state with diverse backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences come to seek accessible, affordable, and quality education and a promising future. As I have said many times, at Buffalo State, we prepare our students to make a good living, to have a good life, and to be contributing citizens in the places where they live and work. We epitomize the spirit and grit of the city and region and state. And our rich history and continuous evolvement from Buffalo State Normal School through 8 name changes is evidence of our resilience and innovation. Our legacy is reflected in exceptional alums and students that we have produced and continue to nurture. And it's through their vision that we build our brand. We find ourselves at a pivotal moment in our institution's history one where we have to look toward the future with infinite hope, while acknowledging and honoring our past. Last year, I described the state of the university as hopeful. And this year, I want to double down and echo and reinforce that statement. But we're not just hopeful. We are filled with infinite hope. This is a term that was inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King when he said, "Our hope is not limited by current circumstances or temporary setbacks. It is like our commitment, it is that we never lose infinite hope." Let me say that again. We must define finite disappointments and accept them, but we never lose infinite hope. So guess what? We're gonna have setbacks. We're gonna have disappointments, but we're always gonna be infinitely hopeful. And so, my friends, I'm proud to announce that the state of Buffalo State University is one of infinite hope. And in the spirit of our distinguished third president, Paul G. Bolger, I echo his words once again, and we can say them all together: onward and upward. Thank you.